detectors, strapping the truth and your film collectors. Coty and Mitch ain't even real directors, but they still gonna tell you which movie was better.
Real Inspectors. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Real Inspectors. I'm Cody.
And I'm Mitch.
And so today we have two movies we're going to talk about. One that just came out in theaters and one that just came out on Blu-ray. But first up on our list is going to be Logan Lucky. Now, Logan Lucky, I was surprised by how the movie was. I expected just some random comedy making fun of rednecks the entire time, but was very surprised to see that it was pretty intellectual and that I was able to relate a little bit to some of the characters just because we live in the South, so I know people who act like this, even though they do stray a little bit from time to time.
Yeah, I thought it was very relatable. One of the things that I liked about it, as you mentioned from the trailer, I just sort of got this sense that it was going to be poking fun of hillbillies the whole time, and it's going to be funny, which it was, but it was pleasantly surprising to see this ensemble of people working together. Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, Daniel Craig, they all had great chemistry together, and they had a lot of heart in their characters too, and they were a lot more well thought out than I actually expected them to be. So that was cool. So definitely, I give it props for that.
Yeah. Now, speaking of acting, you had Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, and Daniel Craig in this. And I actually did not know Daniel Craig was going to be in this.
Really?
Because I caught the trailers, but I guess because he dyes his hair in it.
Right.
And so I guess I just didn't recognize that was James Bond.
And he's doing the whole hillbilly accent as well the whole time.
Was it
extremely entertaining.
Joe Bang is his character, right?
Yes, Joe Bang. And then you had Seth MacFarlane doing an accent. Was it a British accent or Australian
I think it was a British accent.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure.
So it was a funny switch there. You had Daniel Craig doing the American accent and Seth MacFarlane doing the British accent. So that was a little bit of a switcheroo that was pretty funny.
And this definitely just reaffirms that Channing Tatum is good for comedy, not for, I guess, a lot of action, like super serious roles. At least for me, at least.
Channing Tatum?
Yeah, I don't like him in a lot of his serious stuff.
Well, there was a movie that he was in with Steve Carell about the
wrestling one.
The wrestling one, Foxcatcher.
Yes.
And I thought he was really good in that film. So that he played more of a serious role in that movie. Mm-hmm. But I pretty much like everything Channing Tatum.
I think I still need to catch that one, so maybe I'll pick that up on Blu-ray at some point.
He is very good at comedy, though. I'll give you that. I love laughing at Channing Tatum. He's got a great sense of humor. So I love the 21 Jump Street movies and everything too. So.
Yeah, and now the director on this was the same guy from Ocean's 11.
Mm-hmm.
Not Sinatra, but Steven Soderbergh.
He did Oceans 11, 12, and 13.
Yeah.
And you can definitely tell that when you watch this movie because it's very similar in terms of how they set everything up. But it's with hillbillies. It's like Ocean's 7-Eleven.
Yeah. And then the box office on this movie. Mm-hmm. Now, this weekend that it came out, also the Hitman's Bodyguard
is number 1.
Yeah, and then Annabelle Creation was number 2. Okay. And so this came in third with only making $8 million in the box office. I didn't get a chance to look up how much it took to make it, which I think it shouldn't have been too hard to make this movie. I think that it should have been a fairly cheap one.
I can't think of anything specifically in the film that struck me as, that probably cost a whole lot of money, except maybe the
explosions,
NASCAR races.
Yeah, and then having the actual arena to film in.
One of the things I also liked about the film is that it lets you see what happens after everything goes down.
Yeah.
And I like movies that don't end at the place where you think it's going to end, and it just sort of lets you have a glimpse into what happens afterwards, and I always like that. So even though it was a little bit longer, I felt like maybe they could have shaved off like 10 minutes or so, but like I really did enjoy seeing it go further. So I definitely recommend it. I like Adam Driver as well as his character.
Yeah, he's hilarious throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
The movie definitely has that feel of like, I guess the movie's over now, but then it kicks back up.
Yeah.
So that's an enjoyable part.
It's always enjoyable.
Now, hopping over to a movie that just came out on Blu-ray that we actually got to see in theaters the one night was Batman and Harley Quinn.
Yes, and I really enjoyed Batman Harley Quinn.
I did as well. Mm-hmm. The movie definitely stays true to like the art style that you see in the classic animated series, with even Kevin Conroy coming back to play Batman, which was great.
The only thing, though, is that the original voice actress who played Harley Quinn, does not return for this.
Yeah,
even though this film is kind of a tribute to her and her character from the animated series. So that may be a disappointment to some fans.
Melissa, I'm not sure if I'm going to say this last name right, Rauch?
From Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, from Big Bang Theory. She plays Harley Quinn in this.
Okay.
And one of the other castings in it that I liked was the Jason Woodrow character was done by Kevin Michael Richardson, which he's done a lot of voices that I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I definitely recognize his voice as that character. And then, of course, there's another character that shows up who you're a big fan of.
Oh, yeah. Like, the overarching story is all about Swamp Thing, and I'm all about that Swamp Thing.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed Batman Harley Quinn, and I feel like it was a great tribute to everyone who enjoyed the animated series, but it was slightly different in terms of tone, and I could tell that they were taking it in more of a comedic direction. So there was that, but I feel like it was made for the fans who grew up, and they know that you grew up with this, so we're going to spice it up a little bit. We're going to throw in a little bit of things that you didn't expect. Little Batman animated series after dark, if you know what I mean. So I really enjoyed it, though.
I do have to admit,
once I ran with that and accepted it, I enjoyed it.
I was very okay with the comedy, like especially all the Batman jokes that he makes is great because it's the animated series version of him. So I just constantly think of him as like this dark, brooding character, but he's like chugging a glass of milk and then beating up bad guys.
Yeah.
But I think they over-sexualized Harley.
Yes, I do agree with you.
We're seeing that so much now in the comics and a lot of media, especially with the Suicide Squad movie that had come out, where they even altered the actress's butt to show more of it.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, that is an issue for me, especially when I was watching the movie, because they use this old trope where you can over-sexualize a female character, and, oh, well, if we just have her beat up the guy, then we show she's a badass, and everything's cool now, so we can still continue to sexualize her as a character. And I felt there was a lot of that, and also some other stuff that happens with other characters, spoilers. But yeah, there's lots of over-sexualization of that. I feel like that could have been toned down slightly. Yeah. Because I really am interested in her as a character and how she turned from Harleen Quinzel into Harley Quinn. And I feel like they could have focused a little bit more on that than all those kind of jokes. But I really did think it was nice when Batman, Nightwing, and Harley Quinn kind of acted like a really up family for a little bit. And their chemistry was pretty nice. So I enjoyed the movie.
So we have Logan Lucky and Batman and Harley Quinn.
Let's rate them.
All right. So usually our rating system is going to be chicken pieces from Southern Classic. All right. So how many piece special you going to give Logan Lucky?
Logan Lucky, I'm going to have to give that. I'm going to give it an 8-piece.
All right. Is there a specific reason why you want to go with the 8-piece?
Because it gave me more than I expected from it, and I always like that in a film, and it was more clever than I was expecting, and I had a good time, and it was funny. So, yeah.
Now, I will have to agree with you.
Okay.
I actually really enjoyed this movie. I, too, am going to give it the 8-piece special. And when I went into the movie the entire time, I'm laughing out loud, which is what I want to do when I'm when I'm watching a comedy. I don't want to sit there and be like, oh yeah, that's funny. But there's a lot of clever jokes in there. Definitely. And I guess I didn't really pay attention to the cinematography in it, mainly just because I was so distracted by the story. I was invested in the characters, and so if you make me like super invested in the movie that I'm watching, I'm gonna give it a higher rating. Now Harley and Batman, or Batman and Harley.
When I first saw the movie, I also wanted to give this an 8-piece because I had a really good time when I went to see the movie, and it made me feel like I was right back there in the animated series. And for nostalgic reasons, I gave it an 8-piece. But I think I'm going to have to retract that and give it a 7-piece.
Give it a 7?
Because it was very good, but there were issues with it. But yeah, I stick with my 7-piece for Batman and Harley.
Now for me, the story, there were some moments where it kind of fell flat for me. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. Sam Liu, he's directed a lot of the other animated movies that have been coming out lately, especially the Year One, which was great,
That was good.
about Batman's first year as Batman. He did that one so good, and then his other ones have been great. This one definitely doesn't have that same feel. Not gonna lie, I'm a bigger fan of dark DC than this super light and poppy. I did enjoy some of the jokes and a lot of the references to either other heroes and stuff like that, but I'm gonna give it a 6.
6 piece.
Yeah, 6 piece. It wasn't a terrible movie. I'll watch it again. I'm not gonna own this, but I recommend comic book fans to watch it.
Definitely, if you're a comic book fan, watch it, because I enjoyed it, and it took me back to that place, and I love going in there and seeing maybe a slice of something that we haven't seen before. And once I accepted it was a comedy, and that was the road it was going down, I was like, well, I've seen plenty of dark DC movies, so I'll just have a good time. So that's a 7 piece and a 6 piece.
Yep. So those are the movies that we reviewed today. You guys go check them out, see what you think. Let us know in the comments down below on what movies you liked and what piece special you would give them. I'm Cody.
And I'm Mitch.
And we're the Real Inspectors.
Peace out.
Real inspectors, bullshit detectors, trapping the truth and make your film collectors. Cody and Mitch ain't even real directors, but